What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report. And we're gonna be naming this segment Miami Heat Weekly. Every week I'm gonna be talking about the Heat's games, news, all that other stuff. The Miami Heat, since last time I recorded an episode, which was I believe against the Detroit Pistons, after we lost to the Detroit Pistons the first time, I recorded an episode, and then we played 3 games since then. We played 2 against the Raptors, and we played obviously the 1 against the Pistons. We went 2-1, so I wouldn't call it a failure. I wouldn't call it a great success or a great failure. I think it's an okay record, 2-1. I think we could have been 3-0 easily. I think the Raptors, we missed an opportunity yesterday to beat the Raptors without Kyle Lowry, but hopefully we can take care of the Brooklyn Nets. But I believe the Brooklyn Nets is going to be a much tougher game than the Toronto Raptors without Kyle Lowry, because the Brooklyn Nets, as we know, have 3 of the best scorers in the NBA. But talking about the 2 games that we won, the first game against the Pistons that we won, the second game against the Pistons that we won, we bounced back pretty well. I thought that Bam had a really great game, 28, 11, and 5. He just imposed his will on the offensive end and the defensive end. He had that big block. It was good to see KZ start both those games, but KZ only got 4 minutes in that game and didn't really play against the Raptors. Mo Harkless had some big minutes. I don't really care what anyone says about Mo Harkless' stats in that Pistons game that we won. Like, don't look at the box score to see Mo Harkless' impact on the court during that game. He had a lot of deflections, hockey assists, which is like an assist to another teammate who passes to get an assist for himself. He had some steals. He had this big steal at the end when Jeremy Grant was going in for a surefire layup, and Mo Harkless stripped it from behind, and that caused Jeremy Grant to foul Bam and put him on the line for 2 clutch free throws. So these are a lot of things that Mo Harkless did in that game to help us secure the W, which is why he got 30 minutes. His plus minus was insane. In that game, Goran Dragic had a big game as well, starting, and Duncan Robinson, 18 points as well. Kendrick Nunn, this was the first game of the 3 that Kendrick Nunn played really well, and you'll see that there's a pattern with the 3 games that I'm going to be talking about. Kendrick Nunn was probably a top 3 player for us, if not our best player for all of these games. So Kendrick Nunn had a great game against the Pistons. Against the Raptors, the first game against the Raptors, we ended up pulling out the W on that, and I thought Kendrick Nunn had some big minutes. He 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. I think this is what the Kendrick Nunn that we wanted to see. He was attacking a lot more. He wasn't settling for jumpers. He was taking some pull-up threes, but I think that was because he had the hot hand. I really love his inside the mid-range game where he just pulls up after the big sets of screen. He has a wide open pull-up jumper. That's usually pure. Obviously, we know how dangerous he is driving inside. So Kendrick Nunn, hats off to Kendrick Nunn. He's the player of the week for the Miami Heat. I'm gonna be doing that as well in the Miami Heat Weekly. Who's the player of the week? And Kendrick Nunn is the player of the week for the Miami Heat. I would like to see Kendrick Nunn start without Tyler, because I think that he started last year. He did a lot of great things. And I think he needs minutes. Like, Kendrick Nunn needs minutes to show himself, to prove himself. Now, whether he's going to get traded, I think he's probably the most likely to get traded on our team right now. But whether he gets traded or not, he's still a valuable asset to this team, and I think that he should be starting. I was not really impressed with Gabe Vincent's minutes. I thought against the Sixers he played pretty well. But I think everyone played well against the Sixers. We only had 8 guys, so everyone was going to get big minutes, and they were going to contribute in some way or another. So against the Raptors in the second game, which is the last game we played them yesterday. It was just our offense was terrible. I don't even think our defense was too bad. They were knocking down a lot of contested threes, but we let them get going from 3 in the first quarter. I think that was that set the tone for the game. 37 points in the first quarter. I thought we did well in the second and third to make it close, but they pulled away at the end. And I think their defense kind of just, shut down any of our attacks, which is tough because we didn't have Jimmy. They didn't have Kyle Lowry, so we can't really make that excuse. We beat them without Jimmy, with them having Kyle Lowry in the first matchup. So we can't use injuries as an excuse. and Gabe Vincent did not look that good to me in both the games against the Raptors. I just thought that he was forcing things a little bit too much. He was jacking up too many contested threes. He's not a shooter. Like he can shoot, but he's not a guy that you want shooting how many ever threes he shot. I think he probably behind Duncan. I think he probably shot the second most threes in the game, and that's not what you want out of Gabe Vincent. I think Gabe Vincent is kind of like Kendrick Nunn, where he's a force driving to the lane. He can shoot the three, but that's not his strength. I think his strength is driving inside. He had a couple buckets in the third quarter where he drove inside, and I think I want him to do that more. The biggest thing for the 2 games against the Raptors is that Bam Adebayo has to step up. I know he had some great all-around games, 13 rebounds and 7 assists in the first one. The first one I won't really put too much on him because we won that game, and I thought he had a pretty good all-around game. But the second one was absolutely unacceptable for me. Aaron Baines was out hustling him, and I mean, which is when Aaron Baines, who's a stretch big, is out hustling Bam Adebayo, then there's a problem. Nobody should be out hustling any of our players. That's literally what our franchise is built upon: hustle, defense. That's our culture. So we shouldn't be getting out hustled. Like, that was the reason we lost that game. They were getting too many second opportunities, loose balls. Yeah, man. I mean, we were getting some stops, but in the second, third, and fourth, I thought we adjusted our defense pretty well. It was just on offense we couldn't get anything going. Jacking up too many threes. I thought Norman Powell had a big game for them yesterday. Kelly Olynyk didn't really look right in the starting lineup either. 2 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. And Kelly Olynyk is a good player to have because he's a very streaky player. Sometimes he's a force from the 3-point range, but sometimes he's just ice cold. He's a very inconsistent guy. He's a hot cold guy. So I don't know if he's a guy that you want to start, because sometimes he can just be a black hole. His defense is terrible already. So if he's not providing anything on offense, then I mean, he's just kind of like a black hole on the court. Like, he's not doing anything when he's cold. So I don't know if he's the right starting power forward to move forward with the season, which is why I think we should make a deal for a guy like PJ Tucker. You guys have been mentioning LaMarcus Aldridge. I did the video last week where I talked about 5 players that I think the Heat should be having their eye on. We need a stretch big who can defend as well, like a 3-and-D player. Someone, not saying a Robert Covington because we can't get him. He just got traded to the Trailblazers, but someone of that caliber. I think what the Raptors have with who is it? They have OG is a stretch. He's a 3-and-D player. He's more of a 3, but someone like that, like there are a lot of, like, the value for 3-and-D players is very underappreciated. Not a lot of people are talking about how important 3-and-D players are. Like, I think we need to get one, whether it's a trade deadline or maybe sign one in free agency. I don't know, but we need a 3-and-D player to play at that power forward position when Jimmy comes back. We're really missing Jimmy's ball handling. I don't know what's going on with Jimmy. I think Jimmy and Avery Bradley probably have the virus, which is why they haven't been playing. I think Jimmy hasn't played since the Wizards game, and so he's missed the last 6 games. He's gonna miss the one today against the Nets. Tyler has missed the last 3. He's missed 1, 2, 3, 4. He's missed the last 4 games. He's gonna miss the next 3. So he's missing 7 or 8 games due to a neck spasm. Avery Bradley's also out. Myers Leonard, I don't know if there's a timetable for him, but he had a shoulder injury. So Jimmy, Myers, and Avery haven't played since the Wizards game. Tyler has not played since the 76ers games, and he's not going to play for the next 2 games. So we're gonna have to have players to step. We need players to step up, and I think we need to give these guys like KZ Okpala. I don't know what he's done to not deserve minutes, but I definitely think he's done more than Gabe. In the short space that he's been with the franchise, I think KZ has shown more than Gabe that he can be a capable player. So I don't know why he's not getting minutes. Chris Silva's PER is ridiculous when he's on the court, so I would like to see him getting some playtime. His hustle. He's kind of like a mini UD on the floor. I'd like to see Chris Silva get some minutes. It'd give us some size. We got to utilize these assets. We have too many guys sitting on the bench not doing anything. Max Strus is another guy that I'm not saying he has to, he has to start. I'm just saying we have to use him when we're using him. We have to use him like we use Duncan. We're not setting the same dribble handoffs and off-ball screens and all that stuff for Max Strus. Like we're not treating him like. I'm not saying he's as good as Duncan for shooting, but I think he can be very close. I think him and Duncan are two snipers, so we should be running the same actions that we are with Duncan with Max Strus. Precious Achua, I thought had some good minutes in the games that he played. He did some good things. Same with Iguodala. I need Iguodala to start knocking down those corner threes. But those will come. I can't really blame him for that. It's just I'm not gonna blame anyone for missing shots. Like, they're good shots. Precious free throws is the biggest thing for him. Mo Harkless, haven't really seen Mo Harkless a lot since that Pistons game, so would like to see what he's all about. I thought Goran's been playing pretty well and Duncan's been playing pretty well. Two bright spots, Goran and Duncan. Bam has been hot and cold, like I said. He needs to step up after that Pistons game and that first Raptors game. So last game he didn't really do that well, Bam. We need Bam to play like a first option when we don't have Jimmy, is what I'm trying to say. Because we don't have Jimmy, we don't have Tyler, so Bam has to take that role. And we have to figure out what the starting lineup situation is. I'm assuming when we come back, Tyler, Duncan, Jimmy, Bam, and Kelly will probably be the starting lineup. But Kelly Olynyk is the only question mark for me. And the Nets today, I think we play, and I'm 90% sure KD is playing today. So, because KD missed yesterday, he was resting for today's game. They played the Cavs yesterday, and they're playing us today in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is not in Miami. It's in Brooklyn. But yeah, KD probably should be playing today. I think he got taken off the injury list. So the Nets, we can get at the Nets, man. If Colin Sexton killed the Nets by himself, we can get at the Nets. The Nets, I'm expecting Bam to eat because they don't really have it. Like, DeAndre Jordan is cool, but he's not the same DeAndre Jordan. Their depth is terrible. Like, the Nets have some weaknesses that we can attack. Like, their defense is not that great. We just have to make sure that we lock in on defense because we'll score against the Nets. Don't worry about that. The Nets are gonna give up points unless they magically figure out their defense in one day. They're gonna give up points. We have to make sure that we don't give up points against those three superstars that they have, and I think we'll be fine today. If we play them back to back, hopefully we can get our guys back. I know Tyler's missing the 2 games, but Jimmy, Avery, Myers, we need some ammunition back, and when we get it, I think we'll be fine. I think this is the slow start of the season. I'm not using injuries as an excuse, but you have to look at it and say, like, that has played a big part. Like, missing your best player for majority of the season will affect your record. When we come back, though, when he comes back, though, I think we'll start rolling. Pat Riley. Last thing, I need Pat Riley to make some phone calls. And we need to get someone, man. We need something. We need a spark. We're lacking some scoring right now. We're lacking a 3-and-D power forward right now. I'd expect Pat Riley to do his thing. He always does during the trade deadline. But yeah, guys, I'll see you all next week unless anything significant happens. Hopefully we can get these games against the Nets. The Nets twice, the Nuggets, and the Clippers. So tough schedule, man. 2 Nets games, contenders. Nuggets are contenders, Clippers are contenders. We're gonna have to be on our A game. Hopefully we can get some wins. I'll see y'all later as always. As usual, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe and join the community. Shout out to everyone who subscribed. We're now at about 260 if I'm not mistaken. Let's get to 300, man. Join the community. I'll see you guys